Sir, actually, RESTful application also building a web application, and Spring MVC is also used to build a web application. So,
Right, sir.
like, what is
The
the
dip-
difference between that particular web application or for developer? Like, what
no,
that basically?
simple thing. Initially, Jax RS API came into market to build RESTful services in the Java. Later point of time, Spring framework came into the market. Spring also provided the support to build the REST applications. Okay. Now you have a JDBC to develop persistent logic. You have Hibernate also to develop a persistent logic. Those are two different approaches. Similarly, by using Jax RS API, also you can develop a RESTful services. By using Spring Web MVC, also you can develop the RESTful services. Two different approaches. So we'll talk more about the RESTful services in part 4 of our course.
So, JAX RS basically gives the specifications now, like JPA specifications for the persistence and all.
Exactly. RS will give you a specification.
Okay.
So, what is the meaning about specification? Like,
Specification nothing but rules and regulations that we need to follow.
and sir, what is benefit to use MVC with RESTful?
Sorry, MVC is an architecture where you are going to separate your layers in the application, right? So not only with RESTful, even if you develop a web application, you will follow MVC architecture. MVC is an architecture.
What is difference between Spring REST and RESTful?
Spring REST and RESTful services both are not different, sir. Both are same, but two different. Spring REST we are using to develop RESTful services.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, in the company, if we are talking about API and if we are talking about modules, sir, what is the difference between that?
Sir, module nothing but set of screens. API nothing but a web service.
Documentation, yes.
No, a web service. API nothing but a web service that we are calling. On RESTful service, anybody, if any other application person is accessing that, then we'll call it as the API or we'll call it as a service. Like the different names are available for that.
Sir, I have one question. Sir, do you have any idea about Fujitsu? How is it?
Sorry?
About the company Fujitsu.
No idea, madam.
I have an idea. One of my friend is working on in Fujitsu, like in Chennai location, but
I mean, how is it this company is all about? Like,
so we do not don't want to disturb this class, so we can have a separate discussion on it.
Sure, I will give the details. Yeah, fine. Right, guys. Good morning, everyone. Last session, last two sessions. You people watch it from YouTube. So, first one is Spring MVC architecture. Spring Web MVC architecture. Okay. And second one, first web application development using Spring Web MVC. So all of you comfortable with these two concepts? I think clearly I have explained in the videos 2 hours discussion what is MVC architecture and how to develop our first web application by using Spring Web MVC module. Okay, in Spring Web MVC architecture, first we will see dispatcher servlet. Guys, could you please tell me what is the dispatcher servlet?
it's basically the front controller servlet.
It is a front controller for
Servlet.
MVC
It is
application.
acting as a front controller in MVC.
It is used for some
It
pre-processing
is
and post.
acting as front controller and it is responsible
Pre-processing and post-processing.
for pre-processing and post-processing of request. It is acting as front controller and it is responsible for pre-processing and post-processing of request. Okay. After this, we have handler mapper. What is the purpose of a handler mapper?
For handling the request, handler mapper
It is
decide
responsible to
Handler.
identify.
It
It is
Control.
handler.
responsible to identify the request handler. It is responsible to identify the
request handler.
incoming request. When a request comes to our application, so request handler will be available. Request handler is nothing but controller. So in the application, we will have one controller or we will have multiple controllers.
Multiple.
Multiple controller.
We will be having multiple controllers in our application. Okay. So which controller is responsible to process our request will be identified by handler mapper. Will be identified by handler mapper. Okay. Next one is controller. So what is the purpose of controller, guys? What is the purpose of the controller?
It will process the request.
Request and it will return the
It
model
will
and
process the
view
request and return view name.
It is responsible to process the request
And return view name.
and return logical view name.
Logical view name.
And return logical view name. What do you mean by logical view name?
Which doesn't have any extension. It will have only name.
Just
Only
name
name,
of the
no
file.
prefix, no
Does this controller knows what is the presentation technology, or
No.
controller don't know what
No,
is
don't know.
presentation technology?
Yeah, it don't know, sir.
Controller don't know what is the presentation technology. Controller is independent for the presentation technology. Next one, view resolver. What is view resolver? What is view resolver?
It is used to give physical view name, right?
To identify the view files based on the prefix and
suffix.
Suffix.
right. It is used to identify. It is used to identify view file based on prefix and suffix. It is used to identify view file based on prefix and suffix. Then next one, what is view component? What is view component?
It represent model data on the.
It is a presentation.
It is responsible to render model data on the view component.
Components.
It is responsible to render model data on view components. It is responsible to render model data on the view component. Like this, these are the components that are available in the Spring Web MVC, and these components are clearly separated. So when we are talking about Spring Web MVC, the first thing that we need to talk about is dispatcher servlet. So dispatcher servlet is a predefined servlet class provided by Spring MVC module. That dispatcher servlet class acts as a front controller. Front controller nothing but before our controller, this is going to execute. And this dispatcher servlet is responsible for pre-processing and post-processing of the request. Next one is handler mapper. Handler mapper responsibility to identify the request handler for the incoming request. So whenever a request received by our application, to process that request, handler mapper will, to identify who should process that request, handler mapper will be used. Then controller. Controller is responsible to process the request and it returns logical view name. Then view resolver. View resolver is used to identify view file based on prefix and suffix. Okay. Next one, view component. View component is responsible to render model data. View component is responsible to render model data. Excellent. Now, so see here, we are going to develop one sample application here. So file, new, Spring starter project. Starter project. Now I'm creating one application. I'm creating one application for that. So Spring Boot Web MVC app. So as we are creating a web application, we will select the packaging type as a var, guys. As of now, we used the packaging type as a jar, but from now onwards, we are using the packaging type as var Java version 8 language Java. Next. So here we need to select the dependency for our application. Okay. So to develop a web application, we will use one dependency called Spring Boot. So I'm selecting web dependency. So if you use this web dependency, it is providing some additional features also. If you select this web dependency, we can build a RESTful web service also by using this. You can build a web content by using Spring MVC, and we can build REST services, and it will provide embedded container also for our application. Build web including RESTful applications using Spring MVC. It uses Apache Tomcat as the default embedded container. Okay, now along with that, I'm using DevTools. Along with that, I'm using DevTools. The purpose of DevTools. What is the purpose of DevTools, guys?
It will auto reload, sir. It will auto reload whenever we will modify anything.
Our application,
No need to restart the server.
Yes,
Hot deployment.
yes, we no need to restart the server when we make some changes for that.
Changes to it.
When we make some changes for that, we no need to
Restart the server. It will auto
Click
reload.
on next and finish. I have selected two dependencies only. First one is web dependency and second one is the DevTools dependency. Application is getting created. Good. Project got created, guys. Now let us create one REST controller. So let us create one controller in this application to process our request. I just want to display one welcome message. So create a class. I'm creating that class in a separate package called controller package com.ashokit.controller. I'm keeping this as welcome controller. Okay, click on finish. Now, so do you know how to represent this class as a controller?
At the rate controller.
By using one annotation called at the rate controller. By using annotation called at the rate controller, we are representing this class as a controller. Now, so controller means it is used for C2B communication. One end user can communicate with our business by using this web application. Now, so inside that controller, we are writing the methods to handle the request. Inside that controller, we'll write the methods to handle the request. Okay, at the rate controller. Now, let us write public string get welcome message. public string get welcome message. Now, so here I will take model object as parameter. Here I will take model object as parameter. Okay. Now, once I have taken this model object as a parameter, I can set the data to this model object. String message is equal to welcome to Ashok IT. String message is equal to welcome to Ashok IT. Then what I will do is model dot add attribute of key comma value. Key is message, the value is message text. Key is message, the value is message text. Okay. Now, after this, I am writing return
View name.
view name. Returning view name. Now, currently, it is a normal method. Now, I will bind this method to a request by using @get mapping. That means this is binded to a get request. It is binded to get request. I have written one controller. In that controller, I am writing one method. That method is binded to get request. For that get request, I am giving the URL pattern as a /welcome. After that, I have taken model object as a parameter, which is used to send the data from controller to UI in the form of key value pair. Key value pair. Okay. Model is a parameter which is used to send the data in the form of key value pair. Okay, just give me 1 second. Right, guys. Now, here I am taking a method. That method is having a parameter called model. What is the purpose of this parameter model? What is the purpose of this parameter model, guys?
It is used to send data to the UI.
Model object is used to send the data from controller to UI. Model is used to send the data from controller to UI. Good. Model dot add attribute. Model dot add attribute key comma value. Model dot add attribute key comma value. It is sending the data from controller to UI. Then what is the return type of my method? What is the return type of
String.
return type of my method is string. Okay, what is that string represents?
Welcome to Ashok IT.
Welcome.
Text message.
View name.
It is returning the view name.
Return type of the method. Return type of the method represents view name.
View name.
Logical view name. Here, I'm going to create the view inside the main web app. Here we got the web app folder. In the Spring Boot, webinf folder will not be available. If you want, you can keep it also, no problem, but not required. Now here I'm keeping new folder. I'm keeping that folder name as views. Okay. Inside the views folder, I'm creating a file that is a JSP. So we are using currently JSP file. JSP file. Click on next. Next. Here my file name can be anything, or my file name should be welcome only.
Should be welcome.
Welcome only.
Should be welcome only. The reason my controller is returning that welcome. So the file name should be welcome. The file name should be welcome. Now inside this welcome JSP, I want to access the data which is already available in the model. For that we will use expression language. Key, $key represents expression language. It will get the value associated with the key. How I store the data into model in the form of key comma value. Key is the message, value is the message text. So inside this JSP, I have given $key. So we got the value based on that key. We'll get the value based on that key. Good, fine. Next, go to resources folder, application and properties file. Now, In order to run the web application, we need a server. You people learn the servlets. How you people access your servlet applications? You directly run it or you use it to deploy in the server?
Deploy the server.
You need to deploy in the server.
We need to deploy the applications in the server. Web applications needs to be deployed in the server. But the beauty of the Spring Boot is by default, Tomcat server will be provided. If you keep this web starter in the pom.xml, if you keep this web starter in the pom.xml, see here, Spring Boot starter web dependency is available. If this boot starter web dependency is available, then Tomcat server will come for our application as a embedded container. As a embedded container. That means server is also part of our application. You no need to install any external server. You no need to deploy your project separately. By default, if you run your boot application with web starter, Tomcat server will come by default for our application. Okay, that Tomcat server will run on the port number 8080. The Tomcat server will run on the port number 8080. In order to change it, we are going to write server.port is equal to 8080 is default one. I'm changing to 9090. Why I am changing to 9090?
Because Oracle is running in our
in my system, Oracle is running on 8080, so I can't use the same port number. That's why I'm changing this port number to 9090. Very good. Next one. View resolver we need to configure because we have created the JSP file in some folder, but how view resolver will understand that location? For that, so we are going
prefix and suffix.
Prefix, we need to mention prefix and suffix.
Spring dot
MVC dot view dot prefix
Equal to
slash views.
view slash
Spring dot
MVC dot view dot suffix
equal to dot
JSP.
So prefix and suffix we are configuring for our application. View resolver we are configuring for our application to identify the view files. Good. Now let us run our application and see what is the behavior.
Tomcat Jasper.
Yes, sir. I will need to show you the problem, then I will add it. Okay. Now let me run my project. Run as boot application. Run as boot application. Our Spring Boot application is getting started. It failing, web server failed to start port already in use. Already we configured server.port. Why it is not considering that?
You need to do a manual build again.
9090. Okay.
Sir, there is error in pom.xml, sir.
That's not a problem.
No, you need to build the whole project. Once again, manually it will be. I faced the same issue.
F5 and we need to force update.
Yeah.
So click on force update, sir.
Sure, I will do that once. Okay.
Gone.
Now let me run it. Run as boot app. Yes. Now you can see our application started on the port number 9090. Now let's try to access that. Localhost : 9090/welcome. Localhost : 9090/welcome. Now I'm trying to make a request to the web application with the /welcome URL pattern. What happened here? Rendering on the browser. Our page is downloading in the browser.
Page is downloading, sir.
Page is downloading in the browser. Do you know the reason why the page is getting downloaded?
Sir, actually it comes with only Catalina. We need to add Jasper here.
Right. So is our Tomcat embedded Tomcat server able to compile the JSP, or it is not able to compile the JSP?
Not able to.
Not able to compile the JSP. That's why the JSP file is getting downloaded instead of rendering. Now, can you tell me how to resolve this problem?
By using embedded Jasper.
By adding
Tomcat
embedded the
embedded
bounded
Jasper.
Jasper
Okay,
we
let
need
me
to add.
find the embed Jasper dependency. Go for MVN repository. Go for MVN repository. Search for Tomcat embed Jasper. Tomcat embed Jasper. Take that dependency and add it. You don't need to keep the version number, guys. Just add that embed Jasper. Version number will be taken care by our boot parent starter. Now, I have added Tomcat embed Jasper dependency here. It is downloading the dependency. Good. Stop it. I'm restarting my project. Yes. Right click, run as boot app. Yes, application started with port number 9090. Now make a request localhost colon 9090/welcome/welcome. Now, are we able to get that response?
Yes, sir.
This time our page is rendered as expected. Page is rendered as expected. Very good. Next, in the same controller, can we write one more method to handle the request?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can write one
And
more
number of methods we can write.
to handle the request. Right. Now, when we are writing one more method, that should have a different URL pattern. Now, that method also I'm binding to get request, but I will give you a different URL pattern for that method. Okay. Public string get greet message. Public string get greet message. String message text is equal to good morning. Good morning. So here I'm writing model object. I'm writing model object. Model. Okay. So what this model is a map which is used to store the data in the form of key value pair and send the data to UI from the controller. Okay. Model dot add attribute. Key can be anything. Okay. I'm keeping the same key name as message and it is message text. Can I use the same view or do I need to use the different view for this?
We need to use the
Same view we
different
can
view.
use.
Can I use the same view or I need to use the different view for this?
Same view we can take.
We can pick up we can use the same view. In that view also we are accessing the key. The key is the message. Here, configuring get mapping / greet. Okay. Two methods are available in the controller. Both are binded to get request, but they are binded to do different URL patterns. Both are binded to get request and they are binded to two different URL patterns. Is this clear, guys? Public class welcome controller that is binded to add controller annotation. Okay, that representing that class is a component. Now I have written one method that is binded to get request URL pattern is a /welcome that is returning welcome as a view. For that view, we are sending the data in the form of key value pair. And I'm writing one more method. We are writing one more method that is binded to /greet URL pattern that is also binded to get request. It is also returning view file name as welcome. Now, user can access any of the method. Either welcome he can access or greet he can access based on the request the user is sending. Response will be displayed to the user. Now, Start our application. Run as boot app. Run as boot app. Right. Application started. /welcome. We got that response. Now let's write /greet. We got good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Now when I give /welcome, we are getting welcome to Ashok IT. So welcome is working, greet is also working. This is in one controller. So can we create more than one controller in the application?
Sir.
Yes, we can create.
Can we create more than one controller in the application?
Yes, we can create.
More than one controller in the application. New class. Let me create user controller. Right? User controller. Now for this also we are giving a annotation called @controller to represent this class as @controller. Good. Next. Here we are going to write the methods public string get username. Public string get username. String username is equal to some value. Hi, this is get user data. User data. Okay. Now next. This data. Do you know how to send the data from controller to UI?
Model.
By using
Model object.
model object. By using model object. Good. For this, model dot add attribute. Model dot add attribute. Key value. Key value that is user. Now I'm giving user data. User data. Now return. I will create as user. Will create as user. This also I'm binding to get request by using @get mapping /user. /user. Anything is fine. I'm giving that URL pattern as a user. Name also I'm giving as user. Is there any rule that URL pattern and view file name should be same or they can be different?
They can be different.
They can be different also. Good. User. Now let us create one view with a name called user. New JSP. I'm going to create one more file that is user.jsp. Click on next and finish. Here, key. What is the key to access the value?
User.
User is the key. Next. So here I'm taking H1 dollar of user. H1 of dollar of user, so that we can get the value which is associated with that key. We can get the value which is associated with that key. Now let us run our application. Run as boot app.
Sir, you have added Spring Boot dev tools, then you are running again and again.
I have stopped it, sir. Generally, no need to.
Okay.
Application started. /welcome. It's working. /greet. It's working. /user. It is also working. Okay. So two controllers are there. Two pages are there. Multiple methods are there. We are able to run our application. Able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, guys, if you observe in the URL, are we specifying the project name or we are not specifying the project name?
We are
not specifying the project name.
We are not specifying the project name. So, generally, when you deploy your servlet application, do you need to specify the project name in the URL or we no need to specify project name in the URL?
We need, sir. We
need to specify the
context
project name.
path.
URL. Right. Now, when it comes to the Spring Boot, the Spring Boot applications are running in the embedded server. Okay, only one project will run in the embedded server. But when you go for normal servlet applications, we will deploy our project in the external server. Can we deploy more than one project in the external server?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Here, can I run more than one application in the embedded server?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So one application will run in only one server. So that's why they don't keep that project name in the URL. That should not be there. But suppose I want to keep project name in the URL. I want to keep project name in the URL. By default, project name will not be available in the URL to access the application. But if you have a requirement to consider project name also in the URL, you need to configure that as a context path. You need to configure that as a context
Context
path.
path.
Spring Boot. Now see here. Context path. Spring dot server dot servlet dot context path is equal to /app1 /app1. Now all the URL patterns are binded to app1 context path. Now if you want to access any of the method available in the controller, you need to add app1 as a context path. Otherwise you cannot access that. So earlier the context path was not available. That's why we were able to access them directly by using localhost :9090/welcome. Now send a request to the same URL. What it is saying that?
Not
What it is
found.
saying?
404 not found.
404. That means it is not
Path
able
is
to
wrong.
find
URL
the
path.
resource. It is not able to find the resource. Resource is not found. But actually, do we have a method which is binded to /welcome URL, or we don't have a method which is binded to /welcome URL?
We have.
Yes, we have.
Parallel have we have.
We have method.
We have a method binded to welcome URL or not?
Yes, sir.
We have
Yes,
it.
we have.
Are we able to access that, or we are not able to access that?
No, sir. We
We
are
are
not
not
able.
able to access.
Process.
We are not able to access.
Access.
Why we are not able to access that?
Because we have
Because
enabled
we have
context path, sir.
enabled context path.
We enabled context path. So what is the name of the context path?
App1.
App1.
App1/welcome.
Welcome.
App1/welcome. 1 second.
A capital.
Have you deployed?
Taking
I
a
think you
small.
haven't restarted.
1 second. Run as boot application. Yes, application started. Now change this URL. App1/welcome. Localhost :9090/app1/welcome.
So it is app automatically in small case.
Automatically going to take as small letter.
Small letter.
So yeah, yes, sir. That one.
Yes, now.
We
So
got
if I
it.
access that, now I am able to access that welcome URL, which is binded to context path. Now, if I keep it as a greet, I'm able to get that good morning. If I keep it as user, I'm able to get hi, this is Ashok. So if you want to consider some context path for your project, then you need to add that by using server.servlet.context path. So do you understand this?
Sir, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Sir, if I don't want to type again and again a URL, then how can we access more pages using link?
Yeah, we need to provide the hyperlinks for that, right?
So
suppose if you see our website, I don't want you to type send, only first time I will ask you to enter ashokit.in. Okay, after that you don't need to enter any URL. Okay, you simply click on the menu items I am giving these are the hyperlinks. Based on that, the request will go and response you will get. But currently in our application, we don't have that menus. So that's why you are typing the URL every time. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, in model we are using, whenever you send to controller to it, then only you can use model only.
Yes, sir. If you want to send the data from controller to UI, we will use a model, or you can use a model and view object also. There are multiple ways are there. This is one of the approach to send the data from controller to UI.
And also, can I add multiple model that add attribute?
Yes,
Sir, can you create only one link?
Yes. You can add multiple keys and multiple key. Model is a map, sir. You can add the multiple details to that.
Okay.
Sir,
what is
the
why we
difference?
need to take context form?
Sorry?
Why we need to take context form? It is
If you
mandatory.
want to keep some name in the URL for your project, generally it is not required.
Sir, what is the difference between get mapping and request mapping?
So
Request mapping is for class.
only for get request. When you go for request mapping, you need to specify what type of request you want to map. Okay. Now people are asking, can we send multiple details? Okay. Yes, sir. Let me show you this. So here I'm taking the name as Ashok, string name, username. Okay. String username, and I'm taking string user DOB. Okay. And string email. String email.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to send all these details to the UI. Okay, model dot add attribute name, that is the username is one key that I'm adding to the model. So similarly, model dot add attribute another key, that is user DOB that I'm taking. I will keep this key as a DOB. Next one, string email. Sorry, model dot add attribute. This I will keep it as user email. Model dot add attribute of email that I'm giving to user email.
Can we add any object also?
Yes, sir, we'll add it. Slowly, step by step, we will do.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Now, so I'm sending 3 entries in the model. Model is a map. So map nothing but key value pair. Can we add multiple key value pairs to a map?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can do that. Similarly, here also, I'm adding 3 entries to the model: name, DOB, email. If you want to access all these things, you just need to access them here. User details. User details. So first one is name. First one is name. Right. Name, email, dollar of email. And next one is DOB. User details, name, email, and DOB. So 3 entries are available. Those are 3 entries I'm accessing: name, DOB, and email. Okay. So in the JSP, dollar of name, dollar of email, dollar of DOB, we are trying to access 3 details I'm sending in the model. Okay. Now access / user. Why we are getting 404?
Context app1
app1 /
context
user
path you need to add.
Path is not available. App1 I'm taking.
/ user
User. Now, are we able to get all these 3 details?
Yes, sir.
We are able to get all the 3 details here. Now, so I'm sending 3 values in the model from controller to UI. Instead of sending these 3 values like this, we can store these values to one user object, and we can send that user object also to the UI from the controller. We can send one object also. Model.add attribute key comma value will be object. Those object properties we will access in our JSP. by using expression language. So do you understand how to send the data from controller to UI?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand how to send the data from controller to UI now?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Good. Good. So how to send the data from controller to UI? Using model.
Model.
How many
Yeah.
values we can send in that model? N number.
N number of
Number of
models.
Because it is a map, we can add the data in the form of key and value pair and we can send it. So by default, context path is not applicable for the Spring Boot applications. If you want to consider the context path, then you will write servlet.context path is equal to app1. So that context path should be there in the URL to access the resources available in our application. Context path should be there in the URL to access the resources available in the application. Is this clear for everyone?
Sir, actually, if
Yes, sir.
we are working on Apache server, so is it not necessary to install external Apache server if we are using like
No,
this
by
embedded?
default, I mean, if you are using Spring Boot, external Tomcat server is not required because Boot is providing its own server for you. That is embedded server.
Sir, in JSP page, how to create link? Welcome page.
Sir,
Welcome page.
we'll come to that, sir. This is first application we developed, right? Step by step. I will tell you how to create the link. I will tell you how to create the form. I will tell
Same
you
HTML
the
form.
form data. Yes, we'll come to that step by step.
How to write model attributes are in the same application.
Model attribute means
You can use now send that we have to model and one more thing model attribute also there.
we'll come to that, sir. Today is not the last session, guys. Just I started. Today, my intention to explain you how to send the data from controller to UI. Did you understand that or not?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
understood. Sir.
Yes, sir.
The remaining part I will take care of it in the coming session. Okay.
Sir, is it preferable to take a view inside WebNF?
Sorry.
Is it preferable to take our view file inside WebNF folder? Or it
Yes, yes. That is our view file.
If you want, you can take it. No problem.
Is there any
Sir, why we add Jasper?
Jasper is used to compile our JSP files. Jasper we have taken to compile our JSP files, guys. By default, the embedded Tomcat server is unable to compile the JSP files. So that's why we have taken the Jasper to compile our JSPs.
Sir, is there any advantage
dev tool?
to take that inside WebNF?
Dev tools means while doing the project, project already started, but I have made some changes to the code. Instead of restarting the server, the dev tools will reload the changes dynamically. Okay, I will explain you that also practically. I will show you that part.
Yes, sir. I have one more doubt. If anyone asks what is model, so model is a map. It will
Model
add a key value pair. Can I
Map
say that?
memory. Model is a memory.
Map which is used to send the data from controller to UI in the form of key and value pair. That's it.
Okay.
Sir, sometime we use instead of string model and view. So what is the difference between string and model and view?
There is no difference, sir. There are two different approaches. That's it. Either you can use model and view object and you can set the data to that, or you can directly return that view name by using string. Both are same.
Okay.
Both are same.
Sir, how to load model data? You pass only model object here. So how it is working? Like internally, we added attribute and all these.
I will explain the internal part, sir. So whenever you add that, so who is going to call this method?
Front controller.
Front controller is going to call this method. When front controller call this method, it will pass. Who will pass the model object as a parameter for our method?
Controller.
Pass model object as a parameter to
Controller.
Controller only will pass model object as a parameter. Now what we are returning? View name.
View name.
Whatever the data that you set to the model and you return, so that data will be binded to this view object. That will be taken care by dispatcher servlet. So dispatcher servlet is going to call your method by passing model object as a parameter. And your method setting the data to the model and it is returning the view file name. Then dispatcher servlet will get this model and will get this view, this model data, it will render on this view file with the help of the view component. It's something like a map. I gave you one map, sir. I gave you one map. You stored some data into the map in the form of key and value pair. Okay. Now, can I see what are the keys and values available in that map? I gave you map. I have a reference of my map. I gave you that map. You added some data to that map. Can I get all the keys and values available in the map?
Yes.
Yes, I can get all the keys and values available in the map. Same thing dispatcher servlet also will do. And after storing the data in the form of key and value pair, you are asking to get the value based on the key name. So if you give me the key name, can I get the value from the map and can I give you that value?
Yes, sir, of course.
Dot get of key, I will give you that value. Okay, that logic will execute internally in the dispatcher servlet.
Sir, how many times I send the data to controller to view?
Controller to UI. So model object is one of the approach. Second object approach is the model and view. Third approach is the response body. There are 3 approaches available.
Okay.
Yeah, currently we discussed about only one approach.
Okay.
Sir, how many ways we can declare internal view resolver?
Currently here we configuring one view resolver in the application properties file. If you go for Spring MVC, multiple ways are there to configure XML approach, Java approach, and all. Here in the boot, directly you can configure in the .properties file.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Good. Sir, more about these things we will understand because another 1 week or 10 days of time we are going to discuss about Spring MVC. All those concepts will be covered. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Hello, sir. I have a doubt here, sir.
Today I want you people to practice how to create multiple controllers, how to create multiple views, how to send the data from controller to UI by using model object, how to send one value from the method, how to send multiple values from the method. That I want you to practice. Okay.
Sir, I'm not getting mail, whatever you are sending us.
Your name?
Sir, Neeraj Chaudhary, sir.
Sir, I added you to the list, sir. You joined recently, right?
Yeah.
I sent you a mail also yesterday. Did you get that?
Yeah, that I got, sir. That backup videos.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, how controller recognize that it has to send the response to Postman or the browser? Like from which browser the request is coming?
Depends on STT.
It don't know. Actually, the controller don't know whether the request is coming from Postman or the request is coming from browser or request is coming from some other application. That controller don't
But
know.
it is returning, sir. But it is returning user that
View file, right? It is a file name. It is a file name. Dispatcher servlet will identify the file. That file will be rendered. Whoever sent the request, the response will come through HTTP protocol. You don't know that.
Just like method call. If you call method, same, it will return to the same method.
Good.
So what is the difference between controller and REST controller?
These all are future questions, man. So ask the questions related to today's class.
Today only we want to learn, sir.
Today only you want to complete MVC? If you want to complete total MVC today, I will share you videos. I will take rest for 1 week. I have the backup videos for MVC. I will share all those videos you complete it. Then I will start the restful services from Monday directly.
What's
No,
the
sir.
point, sir?
No, sir.
Please be patient. We will cover all those concepts. Okay.
Ashok sir will take care. Don't worry.
And guys, tomorrow we have opening ceremony for Ashok IT. So tomorrow.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. Tomorrow I will not be able to take the session.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, sir. So tomorrow you will not take the session, sir?
Tomorrow I'm not going to take the session, sir. I will be busy.
So can you tell me, sir, today is how to link, how to create link? Only one create, because I want to some idea.
href tag you need to use, man.
A attribute href.
href you need to write it.
Okay, sir.
Or you
Sir,
can
what is
click
the
the
address
button
of
and
Go to Google, Baba.
href. So just you practice this model concept, two controllers and all. So I will tell you how to create the hyperlinks, how to access that, how to create the form, how to capture form data, how to use time leaf, how to use Jetty as embedded server, form binding, form validations. We will learn those things.
Or you can take the help of the W3 school. For
Guys, I
HTML.
will send you one video also. Tomorrow anyhow we don't have a class. Can you go through that?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yeah, so that we don't waste our time.
So,
multiple
sir,
Spring Boot
where
application
is
we can provide the application.properties from outsource.
Applicational properties.
From we have multiple Spring Boot applications. There is 5 Spring Boot applications. We can provide the Spring Boot applications to data to the outsource of the application.properties.
Yes, we can do. There is a concept called config server that we will cover in the microservices.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, yesterday I met with your ex-student.
Okay.
He got selected in L&T with 8 lakh package.
Oh, nice man. Good, good.
He was saying that just do the project batch of Ashok sir. He will take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I sent you one mail for asking about absconding process, but you didn't reply till now.
अरे यार मैं भूल गया था मैं reply करने